7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick. 40 is in Vegas, but it's Monday, and that means we got to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. What's up, Pep?
Yeah, Patrick, I was all fired up to talk about the opening weekend of baseball, and we will. I am fired up because we've got real games with kind of real fans in the stands, which we'll talk about that as well with these cardboard cutouts everywhere. But kind of a bummer, man. I wake up this morning and I see all the Miami Marlins, like 14 of them, players and staff have tested positive. They've canceled their home opener tonight against the Orioles. And Patrick, I hope this is not going to be the trend that we see going forward.
At least I guess this is a good test right away. Let's see how they handle it. That sounds like a lot of players, though. So, doesn't that make it tough to play? This isn't going to be an MLS thing where they send the whole team home or anything like that, is it?
Man, I really hope not, because again, we're talking about a 60-game schedule in 66 days. This has to happen fast. There's not a lot of days off. Those teams all need those games. I don't know, but you're right. Depending how Major League Baseball and the Marlins handle this will kind of show us, okay, are we actually going to get the entire season in, or are we going to kind of crumble when things like this happen? So we're going to find out. We're going to find out pretty quick.
Yeah, if they can kind of quarantine, isolate, and get them to test positive, they got to just test negative twice, they can get back in.
Yes, and they've said it's 14 players and staff, so we don't know entirely how many players exactly that number is, but I do know they have players waiting in the wings, so maybe if the rest of the players are testing negative, they can reintroduce some of their minor leaguers or players waiting in the wings to kind of bolster that roster and keep them at enough players to keep playing. So again, we will find out a lot based on what happens with the Marlins here if we're going to have an entire baseball season.
Yeah, we will.
So let's get to the games. And it's all brought to you by Matheson Gas, the gas professionals. 3 locations across the Inland Empire. Listen, they're the strongest in the gas game. They've got your welding supplies, and it's going to get hot this week. So if you need cooling supplies, you work outside, you work in a warehouse, Matheson Gas also has cooling supplies. So go to mathesongas.com. That is their website. They've got 3 locations across the Inland Empire in Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, and Riverside. Get your gas, get your cooling supplies, get your welding supplies at Matheson Gas, the gas professional. So we're talking about the Angels and the A's first because Shohei Ohtani did not pitch at all last season coming off of Tommy John surgery. And Patrick, I could see you right now as we're doing this live radio broadcast. It was not good, man. Shohei Ohtani did not get a single out.
Could some of this be, I know this is an excuse, he's coming off of injury, but also, I'm telling you, I really do believe a lot of these athletes are routine people, and this has thrown their routine off. So I wouldn't be surprised if pitchers have some trouble. I think they didn't get that time, to kind of work through some stuff in real spring training. I feel like their routine has kind of been ruined.
They are. Baseball players might be more, I'd say, superstitious than a lot of other players because they do have those routines that they do every single day.
Yeah.
So Shohei Ohtani and the Halos, they lost 6-4 at the A's yesterday. They're going to finish up their series today. So Shohei Ohtani did not get a single out as the starting pitcher, but here's the silver lining. Right after Shohei Ohtani left the game, Matt Andrews, the pride of Redlands East Valley High School, the pride of UC Riverside, he stepped in, went nearly 6 scoreless innings, struck out 5. He was fantastic in relief of Ohtani.
And we know Showtime can hit, but also his arm's okay. So let's take the win on that. His arm is healthy.
Yes, it's not like he had to leave the game early with an injury because, again, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. Just did not look sharp, so we'll see what his next start looks like. But Mike Trout did hit a home run. He had 4 RBI, so Mike Trout is continuing to be Mike Trout. He never stopped.
He looks just like that robot that hits the golf balls, He looks just perfect.
Effortless.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Dodgers lost 3-1 against the Giants, so they split their series 2-2 on the season. But kind of what made headlines there was Clayton Kershaw missed the opening night start. They're hoping he's going to start this upcoming weekend. But again, man, he's got back stiffness, and this is something that has plagued him the last couple of years.
Because he's always had that really funky delivery where he really jerks on his back. It's not smooth. It never has been. And now it's a real problem.
Yeah, it is a real problem. And here we thought, we didn't hear even a peep out of spring training or this summer camp that, like, oh, he's got a stiff back. We're not going to be sure. Like, it was opening day. Like, everyone's like, all right, Clayton Kershaw's getting the ball. It's opening day for the Dodgers. And it was like a late scratch that Dustin May, a former Rancho Cucamonga Quake, was going to get the ball.
And Pep, I don't blame Clayton Kershaw. A lot of people are like, why not just smooth out your thing? You know what I mean? Pitch like this. They don't understand. If Pep had a rocket for a right arm and he found out if he threw it funky submarine and he went to the major leagues, he would pitch like that.
Yeah.
But it would probably destroy his arm after some time, and that's what I think has happened to Clayton's back.
Man, I think you're right, Patrick. It's unfortunate because he's really not that old yet. He could still be the ace of that staff with Walker Buehler, but man, just a bummer for Dodger fans. But he is expected to start this weekend, so we'll see if he can stay on that timeline and continue to, get healthy and improve with that stiff back. But here's what I want, Patrick, I wanted to throw this out to you. So we've played, a majority of the teams have played 3 games in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Did you know there's not a single undefeated team and there's not a single winless team? Everyone is 2-1 or 1-2.
That's baseball. Baseball's just wacky like that,
Oh my gosh, it's
you can't predict it.
No, super
baseball
weird.
Gods control it, I guess.
Yes. Later this week, we're going to have real NBA games. They're doing the exhibition thing right now, and I didn't want to, but I got to bring up Lou Williams because it's such a bizarre story. Lou Williams is a star for the LA Clippers. Sixth man extraordinaire. He left the bubble in Orlando to go to basically a funeral for a friend's dad, which, okay, I get that. Totally get that. But he went out to eat to a strip club, and now he's quarantining for 10 days, which will mean he will not be available for Clippers versus Lakers opening night this Thursday, Patrick.
Eating at the strip club is like reading Playboy for the articles. No way he went there for food.
I think my favorite part about this was Johnny Manziel, who's not been in the news at all. He jumped on Twitter. He basically backing up Lou Williams and says, "Yeah, they really do have great wings. If you haven't had them, you just don't realize." So,
would be kind of funny if the wings were amazing.
Yeah, well, they might be. Who knows? Well, Lou Williams knows, and Johnny Manziel knows.
Yeah.
And finally, we've got NFL camps coming up this week. It looks like even tomorrow could be the first time we see teams actually on the field as a complete unit, with even veterans reporting all that. And Justin Herbert, the rookie quarterback for the Chargers, they've locked him in. $26.6 million for the young Justin Herbert.
Yes, I also have to follow up with the signing of Jamal Adams to my Seattle Seahawks. The disgruntled safety from the Jets ends up on my Seahawks somehow. We had to give up 2 first-rounders, but I don't care because we never draft well in the first round, except for Earl Thomas, one time.
I will say, if you are a Rams fan out there listening to this right now, the 49ers are going to be good again, and Seattle is just loading up to get better. And Arizona is kind of a young, up-and-coming team. The NFC West is brutal. It's going to be tough for the Rams.
Kyler Murray, he is a mighty mouse. You're right, though. The NFC West is going to be no joke. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Oh, it's on Inland Sports, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, we're all over the gram. And we got the YouTube channel as well. That's Inland Sports as we talk local football here in the IE.
Thanks, Pep.